How's it guys, Munash here, and today I decided to try out Abyss Collector with Professor X once again. And it was alright, I guess. I mean, I've made progress, I've gotten better at the fight, but I still haven't soloed him. This time I took him down in one revive, but I still felt like sharing this attempt because, well, there's a few reasons. First of all, this time I did the entire fight without using the mutant power or special boosts. And instead of bringing Guardian for the block proficiency synergy, I brought the Big Daddy Parko just to make Professor X a Horseman, because I thought I might benefit more from having a bit more damage instead of that extra block proficiency. And that was true because I didn't die to block damage. In fact, I went down because of a Professor X bug, or at least I think it's a bug, because basically my falter didn't trigger despite it being ready. I haven't used it in more than 20 seconds. But he still managed to hit me. He didn't miss because he wasn't faulted, and I took a 10k crit before going down. So that was a bit frustrating because you come all this way and then go down just because of something that happened that shouldn't have happened. Although at the same time I can't say that if it didn't happen I would have soloed him, because my health was pretty low at that stage. I think I had about 15% left and he had 32%, but I also had about 30 prowesses, so I was just a few mind control cycles away. In fact, I probably could have taken him down in 2 cycles, because 30 prowesses with a rank 3 6-star SIG 200 boosted Horseman Professor X will result in some pretty incredible special damage. I did about 12% damage in my last full cycle. That's 2 special 2s and 2 special 1s with 2 crits out of all the hits from all those special attacks. And I started that cycle with 22 prowesses, then I had 29 for the next one before I went down. So one big difference you'll see in this fight compared to my first attempt is that here I am intercepting a lot more. And that's because I've realized that what makes this fight so difficult to solo with Professor X is the block damage, or at least for me it's the block damage. Because everything else is fine, Professor X, he has the damage, he's got the utility, I suppose. It's just a little bit more difficult when you get to that last 40%, but he can still manage the fight fairly well there. It is a lot more skill based at that stage, but yeah, he can manage the fight pretty well. I mean, he can actually solo it if you play perfectly or have some pretty good luck or RNG, AI cooperation. So instead of parrying and dropping full combos or parry medium heavy, I would try to intercept a bit more just to take less block damage. And I do still parry heavy or parry medium heavy to build charges. But when I have the fault ready, I do just throw heavies in the air quite a lot, make them whiff and build charges without worrying about getting hit, because they'll just miss. And you'll see me do this a lot more in the last 40%, because that's when you kind of have to, since they'll be stun immune. So I'm a pretty big fan of Professor X's whole miss mechanic. It's definitely one of my favorites in the game. Not saying it's the best, because obviously phasing is number 1, but it is pretty good, and it allows you to play against stun immune without much problem, because some champs have heavy attacks or special attacks that are quite difficult to punish with a heavy attack. Maybe even impossible to punish, or at least not safely. So yeah, it's pretty good for safe channeling when you're vulnerable. Now the other good use for Falter in this matchup is when he goes unstoppable, because sometimes it can happen quite randomly, or it might just be at a very inconvenient time, like in the middle of your special attack animation. So you can use the Falter to sort of counter unstoppable to a certain extent, but basically you're just making sure that you don't get hit by being able to miss, or him being able to miss when he does go unstoppable. So it's pretty useful in this matchup, I'd say. I mean, I probably would have used, I don't know, maybe 6 more revives if he didn't have Falter. Oh, another thing it's really good for is dealing with those time warp passives. So the collector will periodically place these time warps on you, and if you let them expire, they will pretty much zap your health by quite a large portion, but all you have to do to remove them is simply knock him down. So again, the Falter is pretty useful for that, because I can just throw a heavy attack and let him miss and then knock him down. Obviously you can parry heavy when he's not stun immune, but when he is stun immune then you kind of have to do this, because you don't get a lot of time to build that special one. So I think I played fairly well during this fight, better than my first attempt, although I still got hit a few more times than I should have in the first fight. My second fight on the other hand was a lot cleaner. I didn't lose that much health and he went down very comfortably. I think I only got hit once because I didn't realize that he went unstoppable. I didn't have the Falter ready, but I did have the Horseman unstoppable since it was the first hit. So I was pretty happy with how the second fight went. It has to be one of my best Professor X fights. I did a lot better in terms of playing around his unstoppables, and also had a very satisfying finish where I took the last 12% with 2 back-to-back special 2s and some lovely crit RNG. So basically I got to skip that last phase because Professor X just blasted through that last 10% in a few seconds. If you do have to deal with the displacement phase, then your special dexing or your partial special dexing needs to be on point, because every time you block a hit or get hit, you'll get 2 stacks of displacement on you, and if you parry, it'll be 1 stack. And once that number reaches 20, then you just die. Like, there's no going around it. You can't save yourself with high dose energy, you just get knocked out instantly. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I need to follow up on some of these Professor X bugs, then I'll wait to get some mutant power boosts, try this fight again, and hopefully solo him this time. It can be done, and I really want to do it, and I am improving. I went from using 2 revives to 1 revive, so I won't make another Abyss Collector video until I solo him. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.